Hey, welcome back to the channel, guys. This is Eric with my boat rides. No, it's Eric with my glide rides. And hey, I appreciate you stopping by. Just want to give you a fairly quick update of what I've been doing on the boat. So again, it's a 96 Sea Ray, and just been doing a lot of maintenance that was very neglected on the boat. I don't remember if I said on the last video or not, but I did run a compression check on all four cylinders. All were 145 to 150, which is excellent. And since then, though, one thing led to another thing. So obviously, water pump. So let's go over here and I'll take you a little walkabout on the boat of what I've done, and I'll show you. All right, so here we go. So as you can see, we got all the carpet tore out. It's the old blue carpet, which we're going to keep that. And I'll try to put a picture of an AI generated flooring and what we're putting in here. But there's the engine. So it's a MerCruiser 3.0 liter LX. And again, it's a 96 model. Everything looks good. So I did change the oil. And let's take you a walk around this way. So let me back up. So when I took the final drive off, the transom, to replace the water pump, some little pieces fell out. And I'll show you these that I had no clue what they were. All right, so as mentioned, these little things came out. When I dropped that transom off, I'm like, I've never seen any of that kind of stuff before. So upon some research, these are typically rubber covered. And what happens, they're called a flapper valve. So in the boat, we'll walk over here real quick. So upon running down the lake, and you either go to a fairly quick stop or a giant wave. So this is the exhaust here, okay? Comes up and into the engine here, to the exhaust manifold. So down in where the other rubber coupling fits down in there, there's a rubber, that little rubber coated flapper valve. So what happens, I'll try to demonstrate with my hand. So these things sit in there on a spring as such, like this, okay? When the engine's running, they open. Exhaust is flowing, outward. So they're basically like, sorry, hard to do this one hand. So they're together like that with the exhaust flowing out. When the engine cuts off, okay, they spring open, and water cannot come back up that riser and then into the engine and do what they call hydrolock. So glad I replaced that. So flapper valve, and to make things easier, I took this big riser elbow off. So new gasket there. The two big connecting rubber bellows are in good shape. So flapper valve, new gasket there, and of course oil change, and new thermostat I've put in it, and belts are in great shape. There's nothing wrong there. I'm going to drain the fuel. I've got a pump. I'm going to drain the fuel out of that. So this is kind of crazy. So to drain your oil, I've seen a lot of people online put a heavy-duty garbage bag down in there and catch oil in the garbage bag and then try to pull it out. My luck, I would snag it on something, and then I would just fill the bilge full of oil. So I just put an oil pan down in there. The oil pan sits perfectly in front of the bilge pump forward. It drained into it, and then I had the little pump that I'm going to pump the fuel tank out with. Just pump it out of the oil pan into the oil container, and then pull the oil pan back out. Much simpler that way, a lot less messy. All right, so we got a new prop ordered. As you can see, this one has been chewed up, and that's not good. That can cause cavitation and not enough water flow. So got the prop off. I've got the bottom end put back on, and we're fixing to fill it with gear oil. So if you've never seen this done before, if you ever do this, there's a vent up top and a fill at the bottom. So you buy this little pump thing. I've had this for years from the other boat I had, and you just pump this, and then the fluid will go up and continually fill and fill and fill and fill and fill all this up until it spills out this hole. And at that point, this is full full of oil. Anyway, not completely, but all the areas that the gears are at. So there's some channels and stuff like that. So I'll do that, and then I think, I've got to research it more. Once this is full and burping out up here, you shut these off, okay? Or shut this off, and then you can then backfill this, then feeds to the drive oil reservoir here. So that'll come back up that hose and then fill up to the full mark. So that's where we're at on that. It's a new prop coming in. I'm gonna go ahead and rebuild the carburetor after I get this old fuel out. And this is another piece that, so this is supposed to be completely this shape. This goes around the top of the water pump, and it's just more of like a heat protecting shield. When an engine runs hot or hotter than it should, it distorted, it melted this. So again, this is maintenance that was not done on this boat. So we're going to see just how much. Hopefully no damage was done. Another thing I did replace, he said the speedometer in the boat did not work. And as I told you earlier in that first video, I'm a stickler about getting everything done. So kind of funny, on the very front of the transom, you can't see it, and I'll point it out to you though. If you can see this little notch right here, okay? Well, as you're going down the lake, water is going in this little hole and going up a little tube. I've got to cut the zip tie off because this is the new part I just put on. It goes up a hose, and then the hose runs up to your speedometer. Well, that was broke, and that little hole was plugged. And that's just a common thing. Running through the water, trash and stuff gets packed in the little hole. But this was the little piece that's on top of the water pump or on the bottom transit. That this piece here was broke. So the water comes up that little bitty hole I just showed you, up through this, and then up all the way to the speedometer. So those are the parts that I have done so far, and that's where we're at. So stick around and we'll show you the next steps. All right, as you can see, it is running out. So that means this is full. So you'll see it. Okay. All right, so it's as simple as just screwing this screw back in. And because that's a closed system, when you go and take this bottom one off, you won't lose a whole lot just because of, there's no vent to that. So we'll wipe all this down good. I'll get some degreaser and clean that off better. But then now we'll take this out and put the little drain plug back in. So see if I can set this up so you can see that. All right, so now we're going to unscrew this quickly. Well, that came out faster than I have ever seen before. Good old tighten. There we go. That's it. Now we'll just top up in the little reservoir, and that's the fluid change. They say you can hand tighten these, which I do, but then, if you can see, I like putting a little screwdriver with a wrench to give it an extra little push. Nothing worse than that coming out while you're going down the lake. Also, trim tab was another thing I replaced with a new one. As you can see there, this one was broke off on that affects steering basically. So put a new MerCruiser or Mercury piece back on there. The new one was much lighter. So anyway, that's trash. So waiting on the new prop. It'll be here today. And I'll get that slid on. I got all that ready and greased up and ready to go back on. All right, so the new propeller just came in as I was buttoning up everything. Drained almost 10 gallons of gas out of it. It's a couple-year-old gas, so I wanted to get as much of that out as I could. Filled up the stern drive reservoir. So all of that is ready. And here's the propeller that just came in. So we can get this out. We'll need 2 hands. Hang on. All right, so let's go through the contents. Very nice looking propeller. $14.5 by 19. This one did not have any kind of markings on it, but that's the standard. But you can see all this stuff is just old and, like I showed you earlier, chewed up. Anyway, it comes with all this, everything new. So you can't beat that for $100. I don't need a stainless steel prop on this. I'm not trying to get point A to point B as fast as I can. But yeah, this is a China-made product, as you can see in the box. But it had thousands of reviews and 4.9. So how can you go wrong with that? So anyway, let's get this put on. All right, well, there we got it. Just got to bend these tabs down to lock. But much nicer 5-minute install. That's very nice. Yeah, so also that came in was the propeller, but also one section of our EVA decking that we're putting down. So I'll give you a little quick peek of what that's going to look like. So hang tight. Let's go look at it. All right, so as promised in the video from yesterday, this is another day. Ran at a daylight and the weather came in, but here is that EVA flooring that I got off of Amazon that is really got great reviews on. This is what everybody's using. Sorry, it's still rolled up very tightly. But yeah, it's got a padding and it's 3M backed. Anyway, that's a shot of what's going down in the floor of the boat. Guys, like I just said, it was another day. This is actually a Sunday. And yeah, we had to cover the boat last night. We had some heavy storms come in yesterday afternoon and rain again this morning. It's overcast, but it's still workable. I'm going to run the boat again this afternoon and check, make sure that everything is sealed up. And then I can start moving forward with, I guess, working on the interior. So that's my plans. But hey, thanks for joining me. I know this is out of my norm as far as motorcycle content, but I did want to document this just so I can see the before and after kind of process. So if you like this kind of video, be sure to comment down below, give it a like, tell your friends if they've got a boat, they've done some or need some maintenance done like that, or the things that I've done, they can follow along and see. I've never worked truly on an inboard before, but it's just a car engine, so that's been marinized. Just little things are different, but anyway, thanks for watching. Be sure to check out a couple of these videos that I'll put up here and down here, and yeah, just be sure to subscribe if you haven't, and tell your friends. It really does help me, and I'm slowly approaching 1,000 subscribers, and I really want to get there. So with your help, I can do that. Hope everyone has a great Sunday and has a great week. Remember, give someone a hug and tell them that you love them. We'd like to do that to our boy that's over there in the Red Sea now in all this conflict. He's on the Gerald Ford. So y'all lift up a prayer for him and the rest of the U.S. military. We'd definitely appreciate it. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you next time.